Welcome to The Beauty Shift, proudly sponsored by Keranique, America's #1 hair regrowth system created by women for women. I'm Michelle Phillips. I'm a celebrity stylist and beauty expert, a national TV personality, and self-confidence coach. And over the years, I've worked with some of the most recognized faces in the world, helping them look and feel their absolute best inside and out. That ultimate inner-outer wow. Now that's true beauty, my friends. Today, I am beyond excited to sit down with a true icon in the world of body positivity and self-empowerment, the one, the only Emme. A best-selling author, she's graced the covers of top magazines and has been recognized by People magazine and Oprah as one of the most influential women in America. Let's welcome Emme to The Beauty Shift. Emme, I am so excited to see you. It's been a while, my friend. How are you?
It has been a while. I'm well. I'm counting my blessings as I sit in Palm Springs during this very interesting time. These fires have been something else. Feel very lucky that the structure that I was living in is still there. It's now a part of a cleanup and for toxicity and the ash and smoke removal. So just being patient until we can get back. And the question of air quality is pretty big. So it's pretty soon after. So just being patient.
I couldn't imagine going through what so many people are going through in California without having some kind of foundation of that self-love and that self-care during such a horrific time. A lot of people push those things aside when times get rough.
The saving grace that I've had is I have a choice every single moment of what I think about. And there are times, and being human, being frightened out of your mind, not knowing if your house is going to be standing or not. I did my very, very best to say, okay, let that be what it is. What can I lean on that I'm appreciative for? And so not only is it counting the blessings and counting all the things that are going right, it's reaching out and asking for help.
Yeah.
And not being afraid to look like a mess. Being displaced is not easy, but I am counting my blessings. I'm in Palm Springs. I have nothing to complain about. So I just said, in my moment to moment, when I'm feeling either panicked or I'm feeling unsettled, I don't need to feel that. That's my choice. That's my choice.
You brought up so many points that I find that is such a struggle for a lot of my clients as well when I'm coaching women, as well as struggles I've been through on my own. It's okay not to be okay. That's really important, I think, for all of us to understand, is that a lot of times we feel like we got to be strong and we got to, everything's fine and keep it all together. No, that is the death of us. It's sometimes you just have to say, I'm not okay. I need help, and people want to help you. It's not a weakness. So I love that you bring that up. And then the other most important thing that I feel that I practice daily before I get out of bed in the morning, I do 30 minutes of gratitude. I mean, that's my meditation.
Oh, that's great.
We can either look at life every day at what's wrong, because there's always something that you can find wrong with anything, or we can look at what's right. And the more we focus on what's right and what we're grateful for, I feel the more we pull more of that energetically to us, right? Exactly. It's like whatever we focus on grows.
I don't want this to sound strange, but it is going to sound a little odd. But I was no I was actually congratulating myself when I was like, okay, what am I to learn from this? What am I to what can I take from this? and sit with that question before I meditate. That has been slow in coming and profound. The hardest, and I said, I've had these conversations with myself saying, well, keep going in this place instead of just letting it take you down and suck you into a vortex of like, the world is falling apart and blah, blah. Just kind of get in there and get uncomfortable and say, what are you teaching me? What is it? Because it has to be in my path for a reason. And it doesn't have to be monumental. It can be something so simple, but in that is this huge nugget of like when something else might happen that you can then say again, what is my lesson here? Because obviously I was not a part of the planning of all this, right? So when something happens to us, I'm constantly saying to myself, and once again, I have my house. I have where I can go back to once it's cleaned up and the toxicity is better. So my perspective is definitely different than a lot of people that have lost everything. I just want to be really clear. I'm getting a lot of deep appreciation and gratitude by saying, "What am I learning about?" And it's about friendship, and it's about being vulnerable. It's okay because I've gotten some feedback that I could be pretty, you know, go for it, get out there and, charge the field and without any, prisoners and this slows me down and he says, okay, I'm hurting. It feels weird. It doesn't feel right. I feel so terrible for so many people that did lose a lot, everything. So it's nourishing to know that we do have a choice as to how to experience whatever is going on in our life. And I don't know, under the worst circumstances, if I will be able to continue. If some other stuff continues to happen, say, what can I learn from this? But right here and right now, that's the thing with the meditation, sitting and just allowing myself to do tonal work. I don't listen to a lot of music right now. Tone, all the chakras, all the tones. I have playlists that I put together, and it's like balm to my soul.
Mm,
And music or loud, aggressive folks, going, and I just am like, "Oh, I'll go over here and just be a little quieter right now."
right.
Yeah.
Healing, letting that healing take
Mhm.
place. Many years ago, when I went through a terrible divorce, was in that abusive relationship that I write about in my book. I left the relationship, and the next thing you know, I was let go from my workplace because they were downsizing financially. And before you know it, I'm on food stamps and this close to homelessness with 3 kids. Meanwhile, working in the TV industry, what you always see on the outside isn't always what's going on the inside. And my best friend called me during that difficult time because I kept thinking maybe I should have stayed in that toxic relationship. Maybe it was safer, right? And my best friend called and said she had stage 4 cancer and 6 months to live. And that's when I realized I needed to stop feeling sorry for myself and going into that victim mode and start looking at what's right with my life. I had my health, I had my children, I have the tools. How do I want to learn from this? And how do I want to create my life moving forward from what I'm learning? And even my friend Lori, she taught me so much about how things and circumstances are going to come into our life that we have no control over. But exactly what you said, Emmy, we have the power to take what's happening and either learn from it and grow stronger and really allow ourselves to expand and move forward in a more positive way, or we can let it take us down and be victims and go down that vortex, that black
Consume us.
hole.
Wait, can we stop for a second? Can we just stop for a second and I want to ask you a question. You have never shared with me that you were close to or using food stamps with 3 children. Michelle, what helped you the most through that period? Because I think a lot of people are going through this and will be going through this soon. So, I mean, like how did you get through that?
That's when I met a life coach. And this life coach said to me, "Who are you?" Then she
Mhm.
asked me like what my values were, what my passions were, what my purpose was. And I realized that I had no clue. And I was living my life according to what everybody else thought I should be doing. And here I was, this makeup artist working in this, CBS and this big TV station, and then all these different networks and working with high profile people. But inside, I'm living with an alcoholic who's verbally abusive. And this life coach started working with me. I realized that I was, I had created my life up to that point and did a pretty good job except for picking the wrong men. So I realized if I was going to change my life, I needed to really start thinking about how to take better care of myself and love myself more.
When the pain of change is greater than the actual change itself, that's when we change.
Right after I got clear and I started doing the work, miracles appeared. That's when I met Louise Hay, and she became my mentor, and I got a book deal, and it was like, what's happening? But it was the darkest times in my life, I feel, are the ones that help me rise up to do more work, not just on me, but I feel like this is a calling to help others. Wayne Dyer used to say, if he hadn't gone through what he had gone through, he wouldn't have been a good teacher.
Oh, I loved Wayne Dyer so much, right? They're
I
both
know.
Wayne and
And that's when we met, was
Sharon.
at Hay House in
I
New York.
know.
I had just gotten off the stage from speaking, uh, along with, Wayne Dyer and everyone. And my best friend of 35 years was with me, Debbie. And there is a line of people in line to have me sign my book. And you step up and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I loved your message." And my girlfriend's like, "That's Emmy. That's Emmy." It was so fun. And oh, you were just a love when you came back into the city and spent time with me and the kids.
Of course.
My children when they were little. Now they're all grown and
Isn't that
38 years
crazy?
old. I know. And your daughter's right.
Wow.
Is she out of college yet?
23. She's 23. It's crazy how time goes. Time goes flying by. And I'm like, I don't know about you. And thank you for sharing.
Oh, of course, of course. I mean, I share that story openly because I do feel like people and women especially need to know that it's okay not to be okay, and that if you are struggling, you're not alone.
And the more that we can think about how we are all connected, having that extra smile for someone walking down the street or opening a door or I don't know, picking up something with off the ground when you're walking the dog or without complaining and going, I used to be that person. And it's how are you going to what kind of a day do you want to curate? How do you want to orchestrate your day? It starts before you put the feet on the ground, counting your blessings, doing the meditation, getting your head out of the way, getting focused, getting your energy, getting your chakras all lit up and going, and fueling your body with yummy, delicious food that really gives you good jet fuel for the day. Movement. I found the pool in Palm Springs, the little community pool. I have to be in a pool. and work out and swim to get I have so much energy, Michelle, that if I don't get it out of myself, it's really bad. And I this is my I was born with a lot of energy. To think I'm in, I'm older now and I still have a lot of energy. So getting my energy out and doing my treading and my running in the water and doing all my Pilates and fun and ballet, whatever, in my laps, that physical relationship with our soul and the beautiful vehicle that we have to
Yes.
be on this earth, that makes a profound impact with my responsibility on taking good care of it. But if we just ignore and we live from the neck up, then we cut our own time on this earth short.
I agree with you. If I do not focus on exercise for myself an hour a day, and I mark off my calendar. Yeah.
What I get from treading in the water, it helps me chill my ass out.
Yep.
Excuse me, but it
Exactly.
chills me out. And
Yeah.
then my body is like, yay, yay, yay.
I know. And that's what I say to so many people, that women that come to me, especially, and they say, I don't feel good. I feel tired. I feel run down. I don't sleep well. My hormones are whacked out. I'm like, move your body. Start moving, do whatever you can. And now I'm in bar 3, which is yoga, Pilates, strength training, cardio, and ends in a meditation. And I'm telling you, addicted to it because it's the mind body. And when you're in it, you don't have time to think about your to-do list. And if I walk in there stressed out, I leave just refreshed, and it's
Wrung
as if
out.
I've let go. Yeah, because again, what you're talking
Mm.
about, we have to learn how to let go. I was just watching Ted Lasso again with my husband. We love that show. And he said, be a goldfish.
Mel Robbins,
Oh, let
let
them.
them.
Rocks. Oh my gosh. I just bought the book.
Let them. It is time to let everybody have their own opinions if they're going to be peering into your own backyard or peering into your own life and not being mindful of what's going on in their own life. That's not your problem. What
Right.
other people have to say about you is not your business.
I love it.
It's not your business.
But I think a lot of us, I mean, me included, I grew up, being taught, be the good girl, don't make waves, be nice, dress pretty, make sure you don't eat too much so you don't get fat. All this programming, which I love your message because you're always teaching us how to deprogram that garbage. But all of that is ingrained in us. And now we've got social media on top of it. And so I would love for you to talk about this with the body image. And, you came from being a supermodel, the world's first plus size supermodel. What shifted for you that you said, I have to really love my body the way it is today and accept myself and unapologetically live my life as true to who I am? Like, what caused that shift for you, Emmy, to where you said, this is it, I'm done?
This is a good question. I think there were many collected points in time early on in the 90s that made this case that I had to fit into the case. And my background in journalism, being a journalist, I was very curious and I did a lot of diving into, well, what about this? And why is this happening? And talking to a lot of doctors, clinicians, nurses, therapists in the eating disorder world. And I realized that it was like a light bulb going off that no matter what I did, I was always going to be under a microscope if I allowed it or if I gave it too much credence. And the research was coming back at me that there's 3 different basic body types, and then you add extra small to extra large bone structure to each one. So boom, you have a whole plethora of body shapes that we are, period. I mean, that is a fact. So I started looking at the facts and started understanding that my body was more mesomorphic. And plus, my background, I identify as an athlete. And, you know, I never wanted to be a model in the first place. I was going to be on air, journalist. And then when I hit women's issues, I couldn't do both sides of the fence. I actually had to cross over and say, I know that I need to be. That's what happened with the modeling. When I got into the industry, I had, prior to that, when I left KNAZ TV in Arizona on air there, and knew that I wasn't going to go and travel all around the United States for 2-year stints to get back to New York and LA where I'd already lived. And I said, I respect the medium of TV so, so much. When I had the opportunity to get into the modeling, and then I was then immediately brought into being a spokesperson for this and a spokesperson for that, and then also doing fashion shows. I had this incredible opportunity to meet a lot of women, not only in the United States, but overseas as well. And I was like, we're all the same. We're all the same. And whether it was straight size women, women who are size 0, 2, 4, 6, all the way up to 24, 30, it doesn't matter. I was so blown away through my lens as a journalist, not only as a model, but as just absorbing information and categorizing it. I was like, there's something odd going on here. There's a lot of money being made off of our backs as women in this diet related industry. I said, my God, it's a real individual journey to finally say, I'm done with the fight. I'm into acceptance, and I'm going to accept my body. I don't have to be positive and jumping and sleeping and celebrating and all that, but I want to get to a place where me and my body are pals, where me and my body are girlfriends, united, and no one is going to come asunder and try and break us up, because this is my best friend. And I got to that place where it was very important for me, because I became a spokesperson of sorts on national level, standing head toe to toe with some pretty interesting resistance. But I smiled and I did my makeup and I showed up being strong, being curvy, and it unnerved some folks, some big folks. And that's good and that's fine. That was I almost feel like when you realize the truth and that you're not to be blamed for your body, and that if you take complete control over how much water you're drinking — we're walking around dehydrated, most of us — how are we eating with yummy nutrients and yummy delicious food, and yes, having a croissant every once in a while, and yes, having ice cream every once in a while. Don't you dare delete that out of your life. If you want to have coconut milk because you don't like dairy so much, but you like to have a scoop of figure out what your body likes. I learned that I'm gluten-free. Do I test celiac? No, but I know I am. I know I am. So do I really enjoy having, my martinis like I used to? Oh no, my body is like, hell no. A glass of wine is fine, but so listening. But if you're willing to be gutsy and you're willing to truly be your best friend, it's a game changer.
Game changer.
Anyone that tells you how to be right, anyone that tells you that you need to be different or to fit in this way or to this, that's an opportunity to go, do I put energy here, or do I just go kick up my heels and enjoy my life?
Our bodies serve us. They take it. Without this beautiful vehicle, we have nothing. And so stop beating our bodies up, start loving our bodies. When we do, what happens? We feed ourselves better food. We take better care of ourselves.
It's a whole other way of a relationship. You are listening, and so it's going to talk to you where you're noticing it.
Yes. I just want to take a quick moment to thank our amazing sponsor, Keranique, the go-to brand for women's hair growth solutions. If you're looking for healthier, thicker, more beautiful hair, no matter what hair concerns you have, Keranique has got you covered. Their products are clinically proven and dermatologist recommended, offering a complete hair care system, including treatments, shampoos, conditioners, and supplements to help you achieve stronger, fuller looking hair from the inside out. So whether you're starting your hair growth journey or maintaining gorgeous, healthy locks, Keranique has a solution for you. And as a Beauty Shift listener, you get 25% off site-wide. All you have to do is head over to shop.keranique.com and use the promo code BeautyShift25 at checkout. Thanks again, Keranique, for supporting the Beauty Shift and helping women everywhere feel confident and beautiful. So now let's get back to the show. That you appeared before Congress on a subcommittee for body positivity and self-esteem. And I say I've known that, but I didn't know that you were like one of the first celebrities to ever do that. What was that experience like?
It was awesome, and I felt so honored to be able to do my 10-minute pitch or 7. It was less than, it was very short and quick, and you really needed to have your window where they go, okay, begin, and you pitch the reason why eating disorders and associated disorders were so important for the government to understand that this was a part of mental illness. I was working as an ambassador for the National Eating Disorders Association before it was called the National NEDA. It was EDAP or something like that. But I felt very, very strongly that I was speaking to the fathers, to the mothers on the panel. And I had to say that before I went in. I had to really visualize, who am I speaking to? Because they're way up here and it's all wood and, it's DC and this was pretty spectacular of an opportunity. And there were so many other people pitching their own stories of whether it was just being disabled or there were all these people at that time. And I was shaking pretty hard. And then the moment that it was like, okay, go. I calmed down and then I just presented. There are moments in time that you don't realize that are really, really important. And that felt like it was one of those when I walked away that day, that there needs to be a lot more awareness around how we speak about the self, the body, publicly. And at that time, there was a lot of photoshopping. Now it's like you can't even control the photoshopping that takes place. And hopefully the young people understand that there's obviously digital alterations on images. It's a whole other ball of wax today. And I feel that we have younger people, younger generations that are in leaps and bounds so much more body aware and accepting of themselves and all their different arrays that I'm just applauding them because they've seen their parents tear themselves apart, not be happy at any given day, always saying that they're fat or they're too thin or they're not happy. When children see and hear what's going on in their world, then they're going to express the way that they want to be out of frustration or being pushed to, or, so we just have to be very, very aware about if we want, no one is to blame here. We have to turn off the ads or not subscribe to certain magazines that have conflicting messages. The power of the purse is the most important impact point that we as a civilization on this globe can make when we feel that something is not serving us to the best of its ability. So, be aware of what you buy, be aware of what you invest in, because when money is not there for that product or that show or that magazine or whatever it might be, that doesn't help support it, then it's going to change it. So that when we invest with just purchasing toothpaste, right? Whatever, that we're making a conscious decision to invest in the values of that company. I know it sounds silly about toothpaste. You could name anything,
You
but
could.
think about that impact. That makes a big difference.
Huge difference. And I love what you said about how basically we are the role models for our kids. When we say, oh, my butt's fat, or look at, you know, my boobs are too small or too big, or my stomach or whatever, we start putting ourselves down, our children see that. They copy more what they see at home than they do on social media or at school. Believe it or not, I don't think parents realize your children will mimic you more than anyone else on this planet. So we have to be really mindful of that and set examples, and then becoming more and more conscious of, how am I putting myself down every day? I do want to ask you, though, about your thoughts in terms of how far we've come in the work that you're doing in the beauty industry and in the fashion industry. Being more inclusive. I've seen Victoria's Secret now has a lot more curvy models, and I see more and more women represented in beauty that are our age. In fact, I just received a study from a beauty company stating that the marketing now is shifting to women 50s and up, because
God
we've
bless.
been ignored forever, right? No one, yeah. I mean, it's
Who
like,
has the money, baby? Who
that's
has
right.
the
We got the money,
That's
and
all
we're
I have to
also more
say.
loyal. What is your thought process in terms of how, I mean, I think things are starting to change, but where do you see we need more work?
So over a 30-year span, we have definitely moved forward. The metric points of business forced the hand of a lot of companies that were not creating clothing above a size 12. If companies wanted to go out of business, they were going out of business because they were not including 100 million women above a size 14 in their sizing program at stores, department stores, and so on. So the business got involved. And when you start looking at that kind of money left on the table, which still is mind-boggling, that the buying strategy, the 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, depending on the sizing, is not changed from the 1950s, because the data that is out there, 14s, 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s fly out and they're not replenished. It could be replenished twice over, sometimes 3 times over compared to the other sizes. So with that model, that buying model for the buyers going into department store, going to all the stores and saying, oh, we're going to buy and this selection, if buyers would double up, if not triple up, on the 14, 16, 18s, they'd be making so much more money. I've been saying this for 30 years. And then having my own clothing lines, seeing how fast certain styles of my own would sell out. I'm just shocked. I'm shocked that that hasn't changed. I applaud all the generations coming up with how they're expressing how they need to be, because it's getting less and less from the grips of advertising and the less of the grips of we all need to be one particular certain way, because that is how you have mental illness.
Right.
You cannot be all the same. And, we should have a whole variety. And I think I've mentioned this to you before. I see us as bouquets of beauty, not all the same flower, all the different flowers. We all have this beautiful sparkle and shine, and we all have a place in the bouquet. To think that I only had daisies, and I knew that there were roses and chrysanthemum and all this kind of stuff out there, but I was only allowed to have daisies, it would not be interesting. It would not be an interest, God, creator, universe mixed us all up.
Yeah.
And to be tall and short and dark, 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 and light, 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 and old and young for a real reason here. There's no mistakes.
Speaking of younger self, if you could go back to your younger self, what's something that you would say to her that would help you today when it comes to your beauty and self-esteem that may have gotten you there a little quicker?
Wow, Michelle, I I would definitely say this, that it's all gonna make sense. Keep playing.
Hmm.
Keep being in the present moment. Keep playing and don't worry. This is all gonna make sense. Right now, just play. I don't know if I would want anything to be any different or faster. I
Hmm.
mean, it's been a slog at times to be like, "This lesson again?
Yeah, I
Really?"
get it.
However, this is why we're here, I feel. We're here
Yeah.
to learn. We're here to learn. And it's not a long journey, although when I was 5, I kept on thinking, "Gosh, when am I gonna be 50?"
Oh, yeah.
And I thinking, "I can't wait to pay taxes," when I was little. I was leaning out of my window in Manhattan, and I was going, "I can't wait to pay rent, and I can't wait to pay taxes," and everyone in the room was laughing so hard. I'm going, "Shut up." I thought they were laughing at me, but they were laughing at, like, the innocence of, like, she has no idea. So I'm just really appreciative. I'm appreciative that today, I am breathing deep, intentional breaths. I am giving myself peace through the music that I listen to, through the relationships and the conversations that I'm having. I am really happy that I am working on not taking things personally and just breathing through conflict and being there in a way where I'm not just turning on a heel. I'm open more to very hard, difficult conversations. And it's just a lifetime of learning that got me to this place of, of appreciation, I guess. I look forward to doing more work on TV, and that's coming up. I can't really talk about it, but it's really fun to think, here doing a lot of work in the 90s and 2000s and, spots here and there, but to come back again into an interesting way um, today makes me very excited because that spirit of like, let them, and, we're all one, and, fitness and movement and being silly and dancing and playing. And bring it on. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to have fun.
I have goosebumps. I'm super excited to hear what you're up to. I can't wait.
I want to tell you, it's been so nice being here now with
I
you.
know. That's what I was going to say. You are such a light in this world and definitely been such a light for me and inspiration, such a blessing. And your friendship has meant the world. I just appreciate you taking your time to be here today and share your beautiful wisdom. And you are the epitome
Mm.
of beauty, girl. You are the epitome of beauty, inside and
Thank you,
out.
girlfriend.
I mean that.
It's
Just,
so
I love you
sweet.
so much. And I'm just so grateful for your
Mm.
time and
Michelle,
excited for everything you're
thank
doing.
you.
And I know things have been tough, but again, through it all, you're inspiring and sharing hope. And that's
Hope.
important. Hope. For a
Thank
lot of
you.
people need
That's
hope.
hope.
Hope and love, you
Yeah.
know? I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
We're gonna end in crying. But it is. You're
Well,
just
hope is
the hope
important.
is so important because so many people do struggle, and everything we're
Mhm.
sharing today is not always easy, but there's simple
Yeah.
things that if just one step at a time, You start to implement.
And when you want to be really silly, you got to get yourself out of whatever you're feeling. You got to look down at your feet. You got to say, my feet stink, my feet stink, my feet stink. To shake it up. Get yourself out of your thing. Or jump up and down and do a jig or something.
Dance. Turn on some music and dance, and you got to come visit too, and we'll go do it together. Okay.
Oh, I love that.
Well, thank you again, my friend. Send you lots of love.
You are so welcome, Michelle.
Wow. What an incredible conversation. Emme, your wisdom, energy, and passion for helping women embrace themselves fully is so incredibly powerful. Thank you for sharing your journey, your insights, and your heart with us today. And if there's one key takeaway from our conversation, it's this: you are worthy exactly as you are. Your body is a beautiful, miraculous force, and true confidence comes from embracing yourself, not from fitting into society's ever-changing standards. If you'd like to connect with Emme and learn more about her books, her coaching, and upcoming projects, be sure to visit her website, emmestyle.com. Thank you so much for joining us today on The Beauty Shift. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Keranique, America's #1 hair regrowth system created by women for women. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please feel free to share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you'd like to receive my free beauty and wellness gifts, just go to my website, michellephillips.com. I also invite you to join my social media community on Facebook and Instagram, Michelle Phillips Beauty.